Godless Kafir. What's up, Godless Kafir? Unmute.
Oh, is it my turn? I don't have an argument. I just have like a question.
Okay.
Or a few questions. I hear a lot of theists, to get out of problems, they like say that God doesn't actually have a mind. Is that your position, or do you think God has a mind and beliefs?
No, we believe in the divine mind. Sure.
Okay, so I'm an epistemological nihilist. I don't think like anybody can have justified true beliefs. So, including God, like how would God justify his axioms?
God doesn't have to justify anything because he is the self-referencing authority within the system. So doesn't even make sense. If God exists, if Christianity is true, that would be like a nonsense question.
Well, I mean, so he doesn't have justification for it. I take knowledge to be justified true belief. So if he doesn't have the justified true belief, something like the laws of logic are true, then he doesn't know the laws of logic are true.
Again, within the system of Christianity, God would not be subject to the laws of the created order because he's the one that put them into place. So God doesn't have to give justified true belief to humans. He is the justification.
So you think God created the laws of logic?
Correct.
Oh, wow. I've never heard that one before. So there was a time in which they didn't exist?
So the logic that's applicable to the created order is a reflection of one of the divine rays. In other words, it tells us something about the divine mind, but it doesn't exhaust it, and it doesn't logically define the divine mind. So God is not defined by created logic, even though, just like anything else in the created order, right? Like we would say, for example, that human beings are made in the image of God. I can't take principles about me as a creature and list them about how I'm finite and I exist in time, and these things make up me as a human being, and then say God has to then submit to that. You got it backwards, and that's what all atheists and all nihilists do. It's a form of idolatry where you have it backwards.
Well, I didn't follow everything you said, but I'm sorry. Are you saying God does not have the justified true belief that the laws of logic are true?
So again, what we mean by justified true belief will be determined by the system in question. So you're trying to take something from an atheist paradigm and say God has to submit to that. Well, if God exists, he is the ultimate justifier, the ultimate truth, the ultimate basis for our beliefs. So it would be a nonsense question to say God has to give justified true belief.
So he does not have. So the answer is yes, he does not have justified true belief.
Well, I would qualify that and say that there's an equivocation. When we say that human beings know something, we mean something like a belief held for the right reasons, i.e. a true justified belief. And then we say God knows. There's something of an analogy, but what Jay's trying to say is that doesn't mean everything that we say and how we define human knowledge therefore maps onto God, so that he forms belief in are they true and is it justified? Well, not in the same way that we do.
Well, what's the common property with the way we do?
It's an analogy. So God's
analogies have a common property.
Right. So the analogy is that there is a likeness.
So what's the common property?
I'm telling. If you don't stop interrupting, then I'm going to boot you because you're not listening.
Calm down, sir.
Don't. You're on my channel. I'm not upset. You don't tell me to calm down. So again, our theology is premised on analogical predication, which means that there's a similarity between, for example, the divine mind and a human mind. So the fact that, for example, we have concepts, right? There's a concept in my mind. Before I go to build a house, I have a conception of it. And we would say that that concept bears a similarity to the concepts that God has, for example, before he created. And so the one example of an analogical predication would be the divine ideas. I have ideas, God has ideas, but there's not a one-to-one correspondence between God's ideas and my ideas. And so the argument that you're giving is premised on what's called univocal predication. So if I believed in univocal predication, which some theists have believed in, your objection would be a good argument. But I don't believe in univocal predication, so it's not a good argument.
So there is or is not a common property in the justification when we say
I just gave you an example of a common property. I said a divine idea is there's an analogy between the two. Again, your argument.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing the common property.
I gave you an example of something that shares a similarity.
are you capable of naming the common property?
I gave you an example of a divine idea and a human idea.
I'm talking about justification.
So that's a different question from the first question you asked. Okay, you didn't ask for justification. You asked for what is the analogia, and I gave it to you. Now you're asking for justification. That's a different question.
No, I'm asking, when you say we're justified versus God is justified, what is you're saying it's a different kind of justification, right?
No, I said that God doesn't have to give justified true belief within our worldview.
That's my question. God doesn't have justified true beliefs then.
So God is omniscient. He doesn't have beliefs. He doesn't learn new facts, right? That would be
omniscient means he knows all true propositions.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that he learns things. That doesn't mean he learns new facts. That doesn't mean he learns new facts, right? It means that he knows.
You think that God doesn't have beliefs?
All right, this is getting retarded. You're done. Get out of here. Let's move on. So again, if you want to have a discussion, please bring reasonable questions and questions that are based around knowledge of the topic. So if you don't know anything about what you're debating and what the position is, then please don't come with such low IQ questions. Theosis Pilgrim, what's up?